when the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois, live on a Thursday night. We're popping tops and talking soccer.
I realized I didn't do it before we started. I'm like, well, I don't want to do it in the middle of a conversation. Might as well do it off the top.
We're getting we're drinking suds and talking. I can't do that on the fly. I didn't prepare any comedy for this, for your bit of opening a can live on the air. Thank you for preparing me. Thank you for giving notice. A can of whoop ass.
Yeah.
Sure, that too. Absolutely.
I went to Universal Studios last week, and they have the Simpsons land there, which you don't get to do that kind of stuff unless you go to Orlando or something like that, right? So
for what? For any
Universal Studios or something like that?
Oh no, we don't have a Universal Studios nearby. What do you think this is?
Dude, the Simpsons land is the greatest thing. It's such a good and I got to have some Duff beer, which I'm sure is Miller Lite or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had three kinds of Duff though. They had Duff Light, Duff, and Duff Dry, and then they had Flamin' Moe's. And I couldn't get a Flamin' Moe. They were out of it. I wanted to try a Flamin' Moe. I didn't know what it was going to be.
Like an actual flaming.
I don't know what was going to happen. I tried to order it. I didn't know if I was going to get a drink that was on fire or what. I don't know what it was.
When I was in college, I don't know if I've ever done one of these. When I was in college, there was a thing called a flaming Dr. Pepper that was kind of a big deal. And there was like a whole thing about whether it was illegal to light something on fire in a bar. I don't know. I don't know about that.
I think that's the douchey order that Will Arnett does in the movie Hot Rod. When he's ordering, he's the biggest douche, right? He goes, 3 flaming Dr. Peppers for the table.
Flaming Dr. Peppers, yeah. I mean, if you're going to do a shot, it should be on fire. That's my personal belief, my personal opinion.
We used to do Shoot the Root. Do you ever do Shoot the Root? Where it's like root beer schnapps and you drop it into beer and then you chug it. Or sometimes called a depth charge, I think is also what it's called.
Depth charges can be different kinds of combinations.
Yeah.
We used to do Jaeger bombs. You know what a Jaeger bomb is?
Oh, God. Unfortunately.
We used to do Irish car bombs. Not necessarily the most sensitive name. You know what a Irish car bomb is?
Yeah, it's like a Bailey's and something.
It's I think it's Jameson with a Bailey's float, and you drop it in Guinness, and you chug the whole thing as fast as you can. And the thing about an Irish car bomb is if you don't do it fast enough, there's like a curdling effect that happens.
You know what I haven't done since I've been a grown-ass adult? Use the word chug in relation to alcohol.
No,
when's the last time you chugged something?
Shotgunning beers. I've done.
No.
You shotgun a beer? You've never
I don't think I
shotgunned
ever
a beer?
have because I have no desire.
I mean, it's just like an American rite of
You and I had
passage.
different college experiences. I wasn't drinking when I was in college. So
That's a fair point.
I also
Although
missed a lot of that opportunity.
The first time I shotgun a beer was not in college. It was not in college.
Middle school?
No. I mean, I was maybe a freshman. I don't remember. I don't.
Speaking of
that's
shotgun,
to the point.
This won't be the only time shotguns come up on the show tonight.
Do you want me to drop that in now, or is that a tease for later?
I don't know. You're
Okay.
you got the finger on the button.
I think we're going to save that for later. We're going to. We had a notable happening in American soccer today. A couple of U.S. internationals announced their retirement. I do have some questions about that story, which I think we should absolutely get to here on the Best Soccer Show. We do have our phone lines as always. I'm encouraging people to call us up. The phone number is not on the screen anymore because we're big. Because we made our heads big. Our egos are more important than the phone number. Jared, what's the phone number?
I don't know. 877 something.
No. The phone number is 717-727-2378. It's right there.
Don't we have the alternate layout we can still go to when we want to do phone calls? Is that a possibility? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we have the phone number in a background, but again, it would make us smaller.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Maybe every time we want people to call, we just bring in Nick and he holds up a sign that has the phone number on it. Can we do that?
If we bring in Nick right now, he's got a different sign on.
Let's bring in Nick right now. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get him on. Right there.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Oh, look at that. It says the best. The best what, Nick? The best soccer show.
For those of you guys on the podcast, what you can't see is right now, Nikki's rocking the merch. Nikki got the first shirt that's come out, one of the first few that'll be coming out near soon. And if I have my way, there is a concept for a Nikki Soup and Sausage shirt.
Oh, have you Have we refined that
I've put it in the I put it in the Google Doc that everyone asked me to write and no one goes into.
Oh, okay.
I saw it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is also a concept I have thought of, maybe with more of an emoji tilt to it than a photo tilt.
That's what I'm thinking.
Good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
We're on the same page.
Same
so
wavelength.
if you want some of the amazing merch that will soon be available from the best, or is available from the Best Soccer Show, that one right there, the one that Nick has, let me point in that direction. You can join the Patreon and get a discount. We're going to be working that out. Patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. Extra bonus stuff. All kinds of things happening over there. We're going to get more bonus content, I think.
Shout out Connor Rivera.
Yeah.
First of the besties I saw post a picture of one of the shirts, so thank you for him.
Yes,
I think
you
it was
very
Connor.
much.
If I'm not, I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure it was.
Sure. There you are. Absolutely. Jared,
Yeah.
what are we talking about with American soccer today? Anything notable that we should talk about?
Well, it's not so much about today, but I think one of the things we were going to lead with, and the thing that you probably guys saw as you clicked on the thumbnail tonight, is the absolute poor run of form of Americans abroad right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, part of that is due to poor teams around
It's due
them,
to
right?
a lot of things. Okay, like you could say that if I guess Gio Reyna's not on a bad team.
Gio Reyna's not on a bad team, but he's not playing. That's a good point. That's a fair
So
point.
it's not as easy as just saying that. And also, maybe some of these teams are bad because these Americans play on them. There's that as well.
You're talking about Giovanni Reyna being on a pretty good team, a team that's probably going to come up short of winning a Bundesliga title, but whatever, Bayern wins all the time, and he's not getting minutes right now, and that's frustrating. We have another American star player who's not even making the team, but that's kind of okay because the team sucks so bad, it stinks so bad. He probably doesn't want to have anything to do with it right now.
Christian Pulisic and Chelsea.
I'm talking about Christian Pulisic and Chelsea, and I don't know if I'm processing what that is.
As in, we're wondering where he's at and not on the team.
Look, you're in the stands, right? You're at the game, but God damn it, man, I don't know. Like, are we supposed to be like, okay, good, Christian Pulisic is not part of the tire fire that is Chelsea Football Club right now?
Yeah.
This stink won't stick to him and he'll be able to move on in the summer? Or is it, every single minute playing in the Premier League is precious for our important American players, and this is kind of a disaster?
I'm okay with the bubble wrap approach right now when it comes to Christian Pulisic because nothing good can come from him playing. Whether instead of
there is a rash,
15th.
A rash of injuries that has happened right now that's probably going to affect the Nations League team coming up in a month or whatever that is.
Well,
and
I'd rather him be
scary.
healthy. I'd rather him escape some of this stink that's on Chelsea right now, and also be fully fit and ready to go for when he makes a move in the summer.
I think the most of the stink comes from Todd Bowley's hair. It's just not. When you're a billionaire, what is it about being a billionaire that makes you think my hair should just be like this?
I don't
why?
know. Richard Branson's got some interesting hair as well.
Yeah, but
if you believe Trump is a billionaire, there's some hair issues there.
Branson always looked like it was well kept. Todd Bowley looks like
it, though. It's too flapping and windy. Why do billionaires want their hair to flap in the wind?
Richard Branson, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because maybe it's to show up the ones who don't have. Like Elon's losing it, right? Or he had a hair transplant pretty clearly at some point in the recent past, right? That's a thing. Yeah. I think there's before and after pictures. When he was younger, he had less hair than he does now. So that's a thing for him. I don't know.
Okay, but when it comes to the Americans, it's a tough time right now. It's hard to be positive about the U.S.'s upcoming push for both Nations League and Gold Cup, especially Nations League. When you think about the caliber of players that would be called in for that competition and what their current club status is right now, are you worried about Nations League? Are you worried about maybe not even making finals?
Yeah, I think so. We got word today that Mexico is going to have a friendly against Senegal ahead of the semifinal against the United States. The U.S. is going to have a camp, but they're not going to play a game. If you've got a window, if you've got a team together, and you have an opportunity to play a match, even if it's not a meaningful one, shouldn't you take it? Like, do you think that that's a mark against U.S. soccer, that they don't have an opponent lined up?
I think, no, I don't in one respect, because unlike the Mexican team, the U.S. team is comprised heavily of European players coming off the season. It might be better not to push them in minutes. Now, granted, some of these players are not getting minutes, so that's a bit of a misnomer.
But now maybe that was okay thought a couple of weeks ago. But now you're probably going to have to figure out what your center back combination looks like, because Tim Ream, he broke his arm. He's out. Kamikaze, he's got knee problems. He's out. I mean, I know he wasn't in the last group, but he was playing well. I think he had a lingering issue before, which is what Anthony Hudson was talking about.
I'm starting to see a sentiment out there. People say we need to move on for Walker Zimmerman, something like that. I don't think so. I don't think Walker Zimmerman's time is still now. You can debate being a starter, but I don't think you can debate him not being in the mix, in the pool, at the top level, an A squad of U.S. national team right now.
Okay, so I mean, I know we started with Gio Reyna and Christian Pulisic not playing. If they're healthy, regardless of how many minutes they're getting, they're going to be in the Nations League team, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Tim Weah, who is a wing back now, apparently. Same thing with anybody who's not getting significant minutes, but is in an important position of need. We've talked through our issues at defensive midfield. Still don't exactly know what's going on with that. Luca Del Torre continues to play.
Well, let's stay with the center backs for a second before we move on, because with Tim Ream out, let's assume Kamikaze is not
he's
available.
not coming back. He's not going to be available. Knee surgery. He's not going to be available.
So
Kamikaze.
That leaves you with potentially Zimmerman. I would say Zimmerman have to pencil in as a starter. I'm sorry.
Zimmerman, Robinson, McKenzie is on form, is a guy that I think deserves some mention. Austin Trusty, who just won Player of the Year for Birmingham.
Yeah.
Birmingham! He just won Player of the Year for Birmingham. Or maybe it was Defender of the Year. I don't know.
And here's the crazy thing. Tim Ream coming on late before the World Cup cycle and being what would be considered like a stalwart now, which is unfathomable based on where we were last summer. We tend to forget that the center back tandem that got us to the World Cup and performed pretty well. I mean, you could think the one thing Berhalter's team did well for the last year and a half is it didn't give up many goals at all. It was a fantastic defensive team.
Right.
And that was done with the center back pairing of Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman for the most part. That was the pairing.
For the most part.
So I don't think there's anything really necessary to worry about in terms of getting the job done and executing at the Nations League at center back, but it does give you a feeling of it's just not exciting.
Okay, there's a very good possibility that those two guys are starting in the Nations League semifinal. But since BMR 209 is just going bonkers over there in the chat about John Anthony Brooks.
That's a Gold Cup call up. Is
it? Okay, so I was gonna do it this way. Walker Zimmerman, John Brooks.
Walker's first. It's not even close. It's Walker Zimmerman.
Okay. Miles Robinson, John Brooks.
Miles Robinson.
Even with limited amount of time since he came back from his injury.
The dude, we can talk about on the field, but despite that, there's something off the field that kept him off this team for an entire 2 years. And let's not forget, Anthony Hudson was a assistant coach under Berhalter. So whatever Berhalter knew or held against him, there's a chance Anthony Hudson feels the same way. So I'm not saying this guy just jumps the ladder.
I'm asking for you. To tell me.
I'm living in reality, but
no, sure, okay. We can all kind of read the tea leaves.
So you asking ability or likelihood of being called up? What are you asking of me?
I'm saying who would you prefer to be in the team? And obviously,
Robinson.
You've got Walker, you've got Miles as starters. So then I have to go to a name like Mark McKenzie
or John Brooks.
Yeah,
I would still take Mark McKenzie.
Okay. What about?
I would take Austin Trusty before John
Austin
Brooks.
Trusty over. Okay. Chris Richards, who's not playing.
He did start recently.
He started at right back.
Okay, but he started. He played.
He did. He played. He played minutes at a position different than center back. He did. Yes.
I would take Chris Richards before Jonathan Brooks.
Okay, so there's just no room for Brooks, right?
I'm just saying he has to work his way back into this.
How does he do that?
Gold Cup.
Okay.
I think you give him a legit chance to people have not seen him with the national team for 2 years.
No, I understand. I will say this, though. Living in the real world, there ain't no way in hell John Brooks is accepting a Gold Cup call-up.
Dude was almost in Saudi Arabia this year.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Almost in Saudi Arabia.
I know. He couldn't get a minute in Spain, ends up going back to Germany, but now he's a starter at Hoffenheim.
Listen, the guy played in the Bundesliga for years. He knows that league. I'm sure he can be a serviceable center back for some teams.
Okay.
But I don't know that translates to being – because here's the thing. We don't have to qualify. Part of what this Gold Cup and Nations League is not just about winning the trophy. It's building to 2026. And does John Brooks have anything to offer us 3 years from now?
Well, by the way, in some ways, I don't wish injury on anybody, especially a guy who was such a good soldier at the World Cup like Tim Ream, an important leader and all those things. But you could make an argument, and this does lose some of its importance because of the coaching situation, which I do think we need to kind of address a little bit. There's some quotes out there that I want to talk about. But you could argue that Tim Ream getting hurt at this moment and sort of forcing somebody else upon Anthony Hudson is kind of good for the long-term future of this team, right? Like, Walker Zimmerman may not be the future, but he's younger than John Brooks, like, or younger than Tim Ream, sorry, both those guys, 35-year-old players. Yeah. I love Tim Ream, but if he's 35, he ain't starting for the United States in 2026.
Yeah,
right?
This is from Vincent Toronto, Canada, weighing in on the U.S. national team. If Brooks wants to be back, I'm in the U.S. fold, and a part of the 2026, you bet his ass he'll accept a Gold Cup call-up. If he says no, goodbye, sir.
I tripped over my words. I was talking about Ream being 35, not Brooks being 35. Brooks is 30 now at this point. Yeah. So he
is a fringe possibility. Listen, Tim Ream has rewritten the expectations for everybody in terms of who can produce at what age at a high level right now for an American center back. But John Brooks' trajectory is not going the same way Tim Ream's was 2 years ago, where he makes a move from Bolton, becomes a captain of Fulham, helps their move up from the championship, and now this year excelling in the Premier League. His stock has been on a steady rise for 3 years. John Brooks is not in that place.
But John Brooks he's trending upward. I mean, he's getting up there. He's moving up. I mean,
yes,
he
trend is upward.
Dip.
Okay, it depends how far. If you look at a 2-month trend, he is trending upward. If you look at a 2-year trend, it's Hoffenheim, not starting at Hoffenheim, going to Spain, almost going to Saudi Arabia, and then a little uptick at the end at Hoffenheim, slightly. That is not, the trend line is down. The recent result is up.
All right. Well, but I think you're kind of being revisionist a little bit. Tim Ream was a very good championship player.
Sure.
Right? That wasn't screaming, start me for the U.S. men's national team. And he got a chance in World Cup qualifying. And one thing by the way, I don't think Berhalter gets enough credit for, and there's lots of reasons to criticize the guy, but one thing I don't think he gets enough credit for is the fact that he understood Tim Ream is not a guy for qualification, but Tim Ream is absolutely a guy for Qatar. He figured that out, right?
Really? You're giving him credit for that? What about Tim Ream wasn't good for qualification? A good center back's a good center back. Why is he not good for qualification?
He got called up. He played in the game against, I think it was Honduras in the second match of qualifying.
I think he played left back, Jason.
Either way, he didn't get called up again for qualifying. So you're saying he would have been fine in El Salvador, in Panama?
If he did play center back, I think he played with John Brooks, who we know was a problem. So, he was in a problematic tandem as well. I think so. Happened? I think it's been so long now, but I want to say it's in one of those first 2 games. I think John Brooks and Tim Ream played together in that. Someone said, Nick, we need you to stat check this. Come on, baby. Oh, look at him get to work.
He's figuring it out right now. Okay, we can talk center backs whole show. I'm not that interested in center backs. I think there are plenty of options ahead of John Brooks in terms of what Hudson is likely to do. Like you said, if I live in the real world, it seems very, very difficult to believe that Brooks is going to suddenly get back into this team at the Nations League semifinal stage because of an injury to Tim Ream and an injury to Cameron Cotton.
Let's stay with Yanks abroad, and let's pivot slightly then to Leeds United.
No, you want to do that?
To go down.
Okay.
Likely to go down.
Yeah.
We're already in Europe.
Is that where we're at?
I think if you're a betting man right now, would you put your money on them staying up or going down?
Based on their schedule, I would have them
regulation spot.
I would have them going down.
I think they have Arsenal and Manchester City still to go.
They have City and Tottenham still left.
Tottenham, excuse me.
I believe on there.
It's gonna be a tough slog, and Sam Allardyce now championing the side.
Oh, I mean, Big Sam, come on! You know how much? You know he makes £3.7 million if he keeps them up for 4 games. For 4 games,
$500,000 guaranteed, $2.5 million if he keeps them up.
I mean, it's not Lionel Messi and Saudi Arabia money, but it's still good money.
You got to hope that Manchester City has nothing to play for in the last game, and I'm not sure if mathematically that's possible. Right now.
I'm checked out on Leeds. I'll admit this.
Okay, but you can't check out as an American fan, though.
No, I am checked out as an American fan, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Okay, so Tyler Adams is done for the season. He had surgery on his hamstring. I very much think he's not coming back because even if Leeds stays up, somebody's going to come in with a £20 million offer for him, and he's going to go. Okay, that's what I think. Okay. I think there are enough suitors out there. Hoffenheim is actually
assuming relegation.
No, I'm saying if they stay up, he could very well be out the door.
You think they're going to give up Tyler Adams if they stay up?
I think they're going to get an offer that they may not be able to say no to, is my point.
Wow.
Okay. And he may not want to stay there. He could say, I'm done with this. Enough already. I'm out.
Okay.
Brendan Aronson could end up being a championship-level player. They go down. I can't see him moving on directly.
We should remember, though, that Brendan Aronson was the big signing of the two of those. He had the bigger signing. My guess is that he has an opt-out.
He probably
I don't know
does.
that Tyler Adams does.
No, he probably does. Tyler Adams. You think Tyler Adams doesn't have a relegation clause in his contract? Are you serious?
How many guys on your staff on your team are you going to give that to?
I mean, you can't give one to everybody, but there are, and you can negotiate obviously with guys who have one who don't have better options and might want to stay to help you get back up. So I don't know. I don't think Adams stays. If they go down, Adams definitely doesn't stay.
He has value. He has some of the most value on that entire roster.
There's a chance that Aronson stays. Weston McKennie is not going to be a Leeds player in 4 games. It's just not going to happen.
Will he be a Juventus player next year?
No, probably not. But that's why I'm checked out on Leeds because I don't think. And look, maybe some of this is on Weston. You know, he hasn't been great every single time out. I do think he's not been set up to succeed, and that's partly because Tyler's been hurt. I could put some of this on Brendan, but they knew what they were getting when they brought him in, and he doesn't work unless
do you think
other parts
they knew what they were getting?
Are functional.
They know he's the industry, but do you think they were going to get 1 goal
from Brendan Aronson?
I think it's 1 goal. It's just a Mendy goal, right? Is there another one? Maybe there's 2.
Remember.
Even if it's 2, do you think 2 goals is what they put Brendan Aronson on when they signed him?
No, probably not. I wondered about this move in the first place. I don't like being I told you so. But
Brendan Aronson was he fit Jesse Marsch's style. It was the right move for what Jesse Marsch wanted to do.
I mean, but I suppose. I just think that the margin for error for Leeds is so small that for a player like Brendan, who, is going to be incredibly active, but kind of needs to be part of a functional system in that regard. Like, and Leeds has never been functional, right? They've never had the talent to make the whole thing work. And they've always leaked goals. So Brendan Aronson's utility is valuable when you're playing from a position of strength, when you're often in control of a game, and they just don't have control of games, right? I know it's supposed to cause chaos, but if the other team is up 3 goals, they don't really give a shit if Brendan Aronson is pressing them. They're just going to go over the top. Who cares, right? I don't know. It's not a great situation. And if
we're doing move or stay, let's just play a little game called move or stay. And right now, you're on Tyler Adams' move.
Yes.
You're on Brendan Aronson's stay.
You're saying what I think he should do?
Yeah, what do you think? What should happen there?
No, I mean, I would prefer that Brendan Aronson find another gig.
Man, if I really thought about this, we would have done the class drop and did should I stay or should I go now? But okay.
I mean, that's played out. Everybody does that.
Okay.
That's a radio bit. We do that over on WNBC. Do you not know about that? That's a whole thing.
WNBC. WNBC.
I mean, no bits are new. Every bit's been stolen by somebody somewhere from somebody else.
Yeah, tell me who's done Baller and Blazer.
That's an original. that one absolutely is original.
All right, Weston McKennie, move. That's automatic. Let me give you a couple more names. Gio Reyna, move or go? Sorry, move or stay?
Man, I think stay. I think that's capitulation if he goes. I think he's talented enough. I think it's about focus.
Why would he ever stay?
Because I don't think that the issue is his talent level. I think the issue is the way the season.
Abusive relationship.
Hold on.
Get some help.
No, he was hurt, and then he came out of a World Cup that had all this drama attached to it. And then I just think that that's still the best club for him, even if it's not working out right now. They have a track record, and they've done this before. They've had players who maybe didn't live up to expectations right away. He's not going to get the same consideration from a new club at his level of prominence. I mean, I'm presuming you're talking loan, because who's going to buy Gio Reyna right now? What value does he have right now? Borussia Dortmund would be stupid.
Youth and talent always has value. It may not be what they want it to be.
But you're talking about
it's not Pulisic.
Trends. You're talking about trends.
70 million like Pulisic was.
His trend has to have been down. So what I'm saying is it would be so low.
Dortmund is the best place to get that trend turned around when the same coach is going to be coaching next year that already doesn't have favor.
Yeah, when they begin a new season and the pressure of a title race isn't on Terzic, when they have Gio healthy over a long run, when they don't have a World Cup in the mix to distract everybody, absolutely Dortmund's the
from
best
the chat, BMR says that Dortmund knows how to develop young talent. But you know what else they know how to do? They know how to sell young talent. They sell talent.
But
so
sell
why
high.
is Gio Reyna still
there?
there?
This is what I'm saying. They sell high. And they're not going to need to sell anyway because Jude Bellingham's going to go to Real Madrid for $180 billion. So there's no need for them.
All
to
right, so
sell
you're on
anybody
Geo
else.
Stay. I'm on Geo Go. Okay, let me give you
Okay.
another name. Malik Tillman.
Malik Tillman's on loan,
Yeah.
right?
So if he was given the option to extend Rangers or go back to Bayern, it wouldn't be a loan.
I don't know if there's a buy
Bayern,
option.
Do you think Bayern wants to bring him back to keep him or bring him back to sell?
They would send him out on loan. I think he probably has another loan year before they make a decision on him long term. I would bet.
Okay, so let's
I
say
would bet.
that Malik has some say in the loan. Stay at Rangers, where he's a proven commodity, or challenge himself in another league.
No, I think it's time to move on. I don't think this is. I don't think staying at Rangers is going to
What's
do
the
him
right
any
place
good
for him
next
to
year.
land on a loan?
It's a good question.
Pepe?
France, somewhere in France. It's doing Valorant Balagoon a wonder, a lot of good.
Netherlands?
Go to France. Yeah, I could see that. I just don't know.
Is that too lateral?
I do think so. Yeah, I think in general it's too lateral.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a
Okay.
$5 million option to buy Malik Tillman, which to me sounds like a bargain. But Rangers doesn't. They're not flush enough with cash to just throw $5 million at anybody. So I don't know that that's something. Yeah, I was trying to look up Giovanni Reyna's transfermarket.com value, and I literally can't find his page.
It's so low you can't even find it.
No, it's just you put in Reyna and you just
It's a
don't.
negative number.
Somebody tell me what that number is. Somebody in the chat's going to find out what that is.
I
I'm
don't
curious what they have it at.
Yunus
Not that it
Musa,
matters.
the easy one, right? Yunus Musa.
Oh, he's leaving for sure.
Okay.
He's leaving, and they're going to get a chunk of change for him, and they might need it. They might go down.
Premiership
I don't know
the
where
right place
they
for him to
sit
land?
right now. So I kind of want to see him get a shot at Arsenal. Now, Tyler's also linked to Arsenal. I don't know about that. I don't know how much he would play at Arsenal on a regular basis, Tyler. I think Eunice would probably be in the same boat. So if we're talking about playing time, it's not Arsenal.
Let me
I
throw
don't
a
think.
weird name out there to you. A very, very name. A name we haven't talked about in a year and a half, probably. But is having a sneaky good season. Tanner Tessman.
He needs to go to play at a higher level. Serie B is not the way to go.
Venezia is now in fourth. I don't think they can make promotion, right? I think they're in fourth. But wait, are they going to be playoffs? They may be playoffs.
You're asking me if I know how Serie B works?
Okay, let's say Venezia goes up. Does he stay or does he move?
Probably should still move. They're going to be right back in a relegation battle. I don't think that's the best way to go for him.
Yeah, sneaky good season. If people haven't paid attention, go check out his stats.
Tanner Tessman is a guy who probably could have options in middle-tier clubs in any of the top 5 leagues. Okay. I would bet. They do have a playoff.
Anyone we're missing there? Tim Weah.
Tim Weah should go. Tim Weah should go. There's there've been links. There's been rumors. He was linked to a bunch of clubs, including Fulham in January. I don't know if there's anything new on that front.
Well, I know
shifted him to wingback.
Serie B has a playoff. I just didn't know if they were in it or not. I couldn't remember what their
where they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's top 2 automatic, and then there's a playoff, maybe fourth, 3 through 6 or something like that.
Is there any American anywhere in MLS or in Europe that you would like to see on newly promoted League 2 Wrexham?
What, are you serious right now?
Is there any American that makes sense that's the move to make?
I don't know the USL League One rosters well enough to answer that question, Jared. I just don't know those rosters well enough.
I'm just saying, is there American that's a good move for?
Some good college kids who aren't going to make it
college?
in MLS?
I'm telling you right now, Wrexham, if they played the Galaxy full team, not the second team, they'd win.
No, they would not.
They would win. How many Wrexham games have you watched?
No, they would not. They would
How
not
many Wrexham
win.
games have you watched?
Multiple Wrexham games. They would not beat the Galaxy.
Dude,
I'm sorry. They would not beat the Galaxy.
Horrible.
They would not beat the Galaxy. It doesn't matter how bad the Galaxy is. They would not beat the Galaxy. If Ricky Puig is playing, there's no chance they beat the Galaxy. Not in a million years. I don't care if Chicharito can't hit the broadside of a barn against
you don't
MLS
understand. Like Ricky Puig would be on his ass in the first 5 minutes.
Okay, but that's why referees exist. You're playing this game in League 2 or in the National League. You're not playing it in Major League Soccer, so we're throwing out the rules. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, he's going to take a hit.
They would not lose to Wrexham. I'm telling you, they wouldn't lose to Wrexham. I have a different thing I want to ask you about. A guy who's not leaving, not moving clubs, but a guy who has said some interesting things this week. 28. Okay. I still think that, if he has a good, it's high for him now. If he has a good season, he pushes that to 40. If he scores 10, if he has 10 and 10, he pushes that to 40.
But if you're not going to play him, then you don't do it, though.
Well, that you definitely hurt his value if you don't play him, but that's another reason Dortmund's not going to sell him because they still want to see if he has a chance to play. And I think he will get some more playing time next year. I mean, I just think that, the title race has forced Tersic's hand. He can't go messing with the chemistry of that thing right now when it's mostly been good. Now, look, obviously they took a step back after the loss to Bayern, but anyway, Joe Scally, who's not going to leave Gladbach because he's a regular there. That's a good place for him to be. He went on Football Americas, Jared. Do you know what he said on Football Americas?
Hi, Herc.
Sebastian Salazar was talking to him about the national team, and he said, what kind of coach do you want to be the national team manager next? And Joe Scally said, I think we need somebody who's going to make it simple, somebody who's not going to overcomplicate it, because national team
not coach it like a club team.
Is not a club team. And then when Sebi Salazar said, do you think it was too complicated under Berhalter? Scally essentially said yes. Now, he also said we played well in Qatar, so he hedged himself a little bit. What do you make of that? Joe has a tendency to say things that are on his mind. He doesn't really hold back. I don't know if he's got the
if he was
capital.
If he was my kid, I'd be telling him, hey, don't do that. But as a U.S. soccer fan, the dude's 100% correct. 100% correct. And I'm happy that someone's saying it. Now,
why?
Why? Because why not speak the truth? Why not speak
hold on.
Truth the power out here.
In what way does Joe Scally saying that have any effect on anything?
He was asked a question. Why wouldn't he tell the honest answer?
No, it's fine. If you're just going to value honesty,
if that
but
lines
you said
up
you're
with
glad,
his own personal
you're glad
ethics
somebody
and
is saying it. I'm just wondering why you're glad somebody is saying it. That's you.
Because
putting,
I think it puts pressure on people like Matt Crocker and stuff like that.
Does it?
Excuse me.
Does it?
Joe Cocker. It puts pressure on Joe Cocker. Yeah, it does.
A guy with 4 caps, a reserve in the World Cup team.
A guy being interviewed because he's high enough profile on Football Americas.
He's the guy
Gio Reyna's best friend.
Sure, Gio Reyna's best friend. Another reason,
a future potential
that maybe,
right. If you had to say after Serginho Dest, who's the future starting right back right now? Maybe even
the future.
Before Serginho Dest, if you can't find a damn
Serginho
club to
Dest
play
is
at.
like 22 years old. Why are we talking about the future?
Because he's not playing.
He's going to go to a club. Talk about stay or go.
Okay.
He's going. He's going to go to a club and play next year. And he's still a starter. He's still the starter, even if he's not getting minutes in Milan.
But Joe Scally is a serviceable potential starting right back for this team.
That, by the way, that is like the worst possible compliment you can get. He's serviceable. Just like that was good.
In the A pool?
That was okay, honey.
Is he in the A pool?
Yeah, I suppose he's in the A pool.
That's all that matters. The dude's in the A pool. He's asked a question, and he said the honest answer. Now, if you want to hold him accountable for that, great. But
what do you mean hold him accountable? There's nothing to hold him
you
to
made it sound like he shouldn't do it.
No, you said if it was your kid, you would advise him not to say stuff like that, right?
Because I think realistically, as a grown-ass man, I understand that there's a potential for a backlash when you say those words.
Okay, so but by extension, you're saying it's not the wisest thing for Joe Scally to do to talk like that, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so then you said I'm glad somebody is saying it. I don't think what Joe Scally says has
I don't want Berhalter to get rehired as his coach.
Joe Scally saying this has no bearing on Greg Berhalter getting rehired or what Matt Crocker does. Zero bearing. Zero. If you think otherwise, you're deluding yourself.
So is Pulisic wrong for when he came out and said that he supported the way Berhalter played?
I don't necessarily think he should have done that either. I mean, he didn't say I support the way Berhalter played. Is that what he said?
Come on, dude. Like, he didn't say those exact words, but in that interview what he was saying. Berhalter, he was a fan of Berhalter's system.
Okay, but they didn't say he didn't say rehire Greg Berhalter. He didn't say that explicitly.
And
just like Joe Scally didn't say don't hire Greg Berhalter, right? It's by the way, these comments are nothing. They're nothing. They don't mean anything. What Scally said shouldn't get anybody excited about anything. Unless you just see this as zero-sum game. Oh, he's on our guy. He's on our side with Berhalter out. Which, by the way, if you're yelling or screaming or tweeting or hashtagging Berhalter out now at this point, I mean, come on. What are you doing? Do something else with your attention. Do something else with your energy.
It's not going to happen.
He's not the coach.
You know why Sebi asked that question, and you know why I can't remember who was interviewing Pulisic when he said his part. You know why they asked that question? Yeah. Because people will click on it. People will click on it to see the answer.
Well, Joe Scally. Yeah, I mean,
listen. If he didn't say that, are any of us talking about Joe Scally this week?
No. What does that mean?
Services him like it services him from a profile standpoint. Absolutely.
Joe Scally's not getting.
Do you think Joe Scally, if he had a publicist, now if he does, do you think he's mad or happy to this week?
If Joe Scally registered on anybody's radar at all after this, beyond soccer nerds, I would be shocked.
No, that's all we're talking about, soccer nerds.
But what is it? It doesn't do anything for him. It doesn't do anything for him. No, it does not. What? What
you
does
don't
it do
think
for
that
him?
his profile is higher this week than it was
What
last week?
does that mean in terms of actual benefit? His profile is higher.
For all the
now
USMNT Anon folks that hate Berhalter, he's their favorite right back now.
Okay, but what does that do for Joe Scally?
I don't know. It
What
just
does that
raises
do
his
for him?
profile. That's all I said.
But that doesn't mean anything.
It's
If
just
his
like why
profi-
Christian Wilson
it-
gets stupid tattoos on his body because you talk about it and it raises his profile. All
No, he
all
does
these
that 'cause
guys
he
care
likes
about is
tattoos.
all these guys care about is their profile and their exposure.
If you were saying to me, Joe Scally going on Football in Americas and saying this raised his profile, and because his profile is higher, he now has X amount of sponsorship dollars. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess.
Good.
Or he's more likely to start for the U.S. men's national team, but I don't think that's the math here.
And
I mean,
listen,
I don't
if the
care
new
that
coach
he
comes
said it.
in and he aligns with what Joe Scally is saying, he already has a player in his stable, in his pool that is on the same wavelength as him.
So you're putting it on that level of politics.
I'm just saying there's lots of reasons why you would do it. I just don't think if I was his dad, I'd tell him not to because I think being quiet helps him more. But I think there's nothing wrong with a guy coming out and speaking his mind within reason.
No, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I didn't say there was anything wrong. I said whether or not it was advisable or if it has any tangible effect. And I don't think it does. I don't think it has any effect. Matt Crocker may note that. He may hear it. Of course he does. He's going to hear it. But I don't think it's going to have anything to do with his decision. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Greg Berhalter's got any shot at getting this job. I just don't think he's coming back. There is too much damage done, too many bodies buried at this point that they can't
I'll
possibly
honestly
go
say,
back.
I think Scotty's comments are far more about getting Gio Reyna's back than it was about his own feelings.
No, you think that was about Gio? I don't think it's
Sure.
about Gio.
Why
How's
not?
that about Gio?
Because I think he's getting his guys
It's about
back.
the way you play. How? Just because Berhalter didn't play Gio, and
You think
Berhalter
Gio wants Berhalter back?
got into. No, but what does
So I
this
think
have?
he's
just
helping
because
the case
Scally and-
against it because Berhalter coached the team like a club team. That's what he's saying. He's
You're
trying to bury
overthinking
Berhalter.
this. I just can't imagine that there's like actual calculations going on. Like, hey, bro, can you go on Football in Americas and trash Berhalter so that he doesn't come back?
That's not
I don't
what I'm
like
saying.
that guy.
I'm saying when the question's asked, he sees it as an opportunity to take a shot at a guy.
No, I don't think Joe Scally is thinking about Gio Reyna when he answers that question. I think he's giving his honest opinion, which you said is what you want. You want an honest assessment. I also don't know that Joe Scally is necessarily the guy I'm going to put a lot of import on when it comes to his opinion on how the national team plays.
Well, Joe Scally's comments, it leads right into this, and this is from Sean O'Reilly. This is another storyline this week, was can Marsch coach a different system? If you bring in Jesse Marsch, which by what you're hearing out there, leading candidate, that's what's being reported, leading candidate out there for this job, that's exactly what Jesse Marsch has the ability to potentially do, is coach this like a club team. That's the worry, right? To take the way he plays, the very, very club mentality, the style of play that he wanted to play with. And does he have the ability to change that up and coach differently at the national team level?
No.
No,
I mean,
it works for Bielsa, though. Bielsa's taken the
can
same
he-
style to multiple,
can
to
you-
club and
Can
national
you
team.
try? Well, the question isn't whether or not Jesse Marsch can change, because I don't think he's going to change. The question is whether or not this national team is suited to Jesse Marsch's approach. That's the question. Because if you believe that this team can play Jesse Marsch Red Bull soccer, well, then hire the guy. Sure, go on. He's the most accomplished American
national
coach.
team you see out there that's being successful playing that Red Bull style?
Who presses the way that a club team does on the
Bielsa
international
teams.
stage?
That's the only ones.
Well, but when's the last time you saw a Bielsa national team?
I'm just
It's
saying
been a
that's the
long
only one I
time.
can think of that plays
Chile,
that
right?
style.
It was Chile that he turned into a powerhouse by playing that system. I mean,
It's tough. So I would be interested if that is the hire. I would be interested for someone in the press pool at that press conference to ask Joe Cocker, hey, what did Jesse sell you on his style of play? Like, what did he sell you on?
I mean, we're not there, right? You're imagining a scenario in which Jesse
I
Marsch
think
is
it's
high,
likely.
right? And he will be asked about that. And look, I don't know. I know that there's a report. 90min.com had the report that said Jesse is the leading candidate. I have no independent sources beyond what I've read. Yeah, maybe he is, but that also might mean because the pool isn't deep enough yet, right? And by the way, there is certainly the reality of who's going to be available.
Sure.
Right now, when the European season is over,
be available in 4 games.
He coached England for 1 game before they fired him.
That's
but it wasn't because
Sam
of
thing I've ever heard.
performance. It was because he was he got caught on tape talking about taking cash under the table for something, which is just
it's so on brand.
I want a mafioso head coach for the national league. I want somebody
he's
who's
the Chuck Blazer of coaches.
he does have that,
both in stature and behaviors.
Yeah. No, he does. He absolutely does have that vibe. So look, I've seen people throw out kind of random lists of potential candidates for the U.S. men's national team job. I do kind of have to get past a point of suspending disbelief on some of the names. Now, I've said, look, we talked about Yogi Love, right? We still don't know what that guy's doing besides picking his nose somewhere. We just don't know what he's doing.
He's doing that. That's for sure.
Jose Peckerman, 73. I still think that would be an interesting choice, but I don't know that the U.S. soccer is going to go on that direction because of the cultural barrier, and that's what I worry about, that there's going to be a sense. And I don't even know if I can really go in this direction, but you think about it, would they be more likely to hire a Yogi Love because of where he comes from than they would be to hire South American because of where they come from? Tata Martino is out there, Jared.
Get the hell out of here.
No, because of Mexico, you would say no to that?
Yes. Do you see what about his tenure at Mexico with the national team makes you feel that that's the right guy? He wilted under pressure. He did not handle himself well in the media.
Yeah, but that's because the Mexican media is insane. I think.
Do you agree with his selections as well? The selections were rough.
I mean, I know there was lots of discussion about leaning on the old guys. I understand that.
But you didn't lead on the one old guy they needed, which is Chicharito.
I don't think Chicharito was the answer. It was really about Edson Alvarez in the midfield, right, and a couple other things. I know. I don't think that Tata Martino started being a bad coach when he took over Mexico, right? I just don't think he started being a bad coach.
Sure.
He would not have the same sort of problems with the U.S. men's national team in terms of player selection in most areas.
Yeah, but do you want to be the rebound dude?
Spots?
Do you want to be the rebound team?
Why not? I don't care. We had Bora coach Mexico and coach us at the World Cup. I know that's a lifetime ago, but why? I don't have. If
Bora
the guy can win, I don't
performance.
care. What'd you say?
Bora wasn't coming off a bad performance with Mexico.
Okay, but I don't think that matters because I don't think that you look at one performance in a bubble in Qatar with that team and that media and that generational shift and some of the issues that Mexico had across their team and having their best goal scorer break his face a couple years before the tournament. Like I don't think any of that should mean that Tata Martino is off your list because he's suddenly a bad coach. Okay. And he knows American soccer.
Tata Martino or Jesse Marsch?
I would say Tata Martino.
I'd say Jesse Marsch.
I think I would trust Tata to figure out how to play in a national team setting because he's done it before with this group of players and get more out of them than Jesse, who's going to come in and say press.
I want to be part of the reconstruction project.
This might be true, though. This might be true. Tata might bring back Michael Bradley. He might do that.
My man still got some in the tank.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, all of this is kind of speculation. We got the Nations League coming up. The roster's going to come out. I briefly, before we do our in memoriam, which is coming up, do you want to talk about the U20s? Do you care about the U20 national team in the World Cup?
I don't care other than the fact that I think the only thing to talk about with them is not who's going, who isn't. I think the talking point is,
but that's
are the
everything.
Clubs right? I know, but are the clubs right to release or not release? I think that's the talking point.
Well, that's
this guy versus this guy.
That's what everything is, right?
Yeah.
And MLS soccer.com threw out their potential roster. Or there's been I saw our Tal Bogert was tweeting about this with certain players. Caleb Wiley, the winger / fullback for Atlanta United, he says he's going. The club's going to allow him to go. Yep. Chicago said no to Brian Gutierrez and the Chris Brady, the goalkeeper. He said, no, we're not doing that. I think there are a couple other teams. Jalen Neal, Jared, we need you to get in touch with your people.
I don't think he's going.
You don't think he's going? Okay.
No.
I think there's a sense they might release it.
We see now. I'm not sure if Mauricio Cuevas is in that picture as well, but now with him also being at the
Galaxy, think he is in that picture, yeah.
I don't know if they'll release him either. Jalen Neal is far less likely to go, I think.
The question here, the reason that this matters, of course, is because if teams don't release players The U.S. takes a much weaker roster, and they go down to Argentina, and, the idea of winning something at that level is kind of out the window.
Yeah.
But like a guy like Kevin Paredes is also on the radar here. Will Wolfsburg let him go? That kind of thing. This comes down to club versus country, right? Just in terms of what you value. Jim Curtin, head coach of your Philadelphia Union. And Jared, you probably should just make them your Philadelphia Union since you're LA Galaxy.
No, they can't beat LAFC either.
So trash.
I'm not going with them.
That's good point. You don't want to trade one team that can't beat LAFC for another team that can beat LAFC. All right, here. This is a long answer, but this is what he said. Part of it was, in terms of the identity of the union, he said, we're not going to lie and say we're one thing and completely change now. We'd be hypocrites. This is what we believed in when the club was founded. This is what we believed in since I've been here. To change that now would be very hypocritical in terms of not releasing players. Quote, please take the full context of this part too. As a country, I think we still have a long way to go in terms of developing players. We have great, great, great young players. Sometimes we get in our own way and act like Europe or South America. We're not there yet. We're not Spain. We're not Germany. We're not Argentina. We haven't won a World Cup ever. Let's try to win every competition at the youth level and show we have great players because we do. Rather than the confusion of acting like we're them, I think sometimes you'll hear it from different sporting directors or coaches, and they'll say things like development, but then it comes time and they say, well, I can't sacrifice points here or I'll get fired or whatever may happen. I think we need to be all in this together to really be about it and not just talk about it. I mean,
I don't disagree.
Look, it's easy to say that, though, when you're a defending Eastern Conference champion. I know the season hasn't gone the way they wanted in the league. They think they're going to be fine. Obviously, they got knocked out of the Champions League. I think it's easier to say that when you've already established yourself and you know that you can win games, even if Jack McGlynn goes off to duty. You have guys who can step in. Jose Martinez come back healthy. Leon Flock gets better.
It's easy to say that when you're a prospective U.S. national team candidate.
Well, I think this is really Jim Curtin being honest, but you're right. There may be something to that.
I'm just making a joke. I agree.
But look, somebody said in the chat that Philly is much deeper than Chicago. Yeah, that's the thing here. Should Chicago feel compelled to release its players because rah USA, let's go let these kids fly the flag and develop in the U20 World Cup because one day they might play in a big tournament?
Yeah, I think if you ask the honest question, will a player get more from 3 to 4 games at the U20 World Cup than they will getting 3 to 4 games in MLS? The answer is yes, right? That's the answer.
Is it?
I think so. Because you don't think there's a different level of pressure when you're playing for your club team,
pressure,
for
yes.
your national team
pressure,
at a tournament?
Yes. Sure.
I think there is. And you're also playing against the generational talent of the entire world.
You could be, but remember, these other countries are going to have the same selection issues in some cases. Not every case, but some
agreed,
cases.
But there's a part of that. But I just think that they would get more. And also, if you're a club team, there's advantages for you, too. That means you're putting out your prospects on the world stage for potential transfer and sale.
But that kind of assumes that some of these clubs aren't already eyeing these players while they play in Major League Soccer when they get MLS minutes. Now, if they're riding the bench with an MLS team and never playing, and then the coach is like, well, we can't lose that depth. I don't like that. I think you're hurting the player and you're obviously hurting his value potentially. But if you've got a regular or a player who's getting significant minutes, I understand not releasing them. I don't care what Jim Curtin says.
I get it. Frankie Hayda goes to Bayer Leverkusen if he didn't play well at the World Cup in '96.
Different. I mean, in 2007, Danny Sotella gets a move because of the 2007 U20 World Cup. No, I understand it can happen, but that's a different MLS. This is an MLS that is much more on the world stage on its own without needing to send those kids to the U20 World Cup to get them shine. Mm-hmm. I don't think a mature league, and if we don't want MLS to be mature, okay, fine. I don't think a mature league is a bunch of clubs who go, well, I guess we got to do this for America. Like if it benefits the player and his value for you as a club, send him off.
I'll
send
say
him along.
This one other way as well. If you as an MLS team can't live without a U20 player for a month, that's a failure on your team.
That's fair.
That is an absolute failure on your team and your depth that you were charged to make.
Let's not take the player agency out of this either, because these players want to go in a lot of cases. That's Caleb Wiley said, I'm so glad my club released me because I really want to go play in this tournament.
One of those guys would say that if their club would let them.
For most of them, I'm sure that's true, right? And so the club has to balance. What does the player want versus what's good with us and league stuff? And, Ezra Hendrickson might be under pressure. because Chicago hasn't made the strides that they want. And, eventually he might lose his job. But I don't know. Can you blame Ez if he's like, no, I can't let Chris Brady go because we don't really have a great option behind him?
Again, I think it just makes you look weak. I think, and I'm an Ezra fan. I love Ezra Hendrickson. But I think it makes him look weak. I think it makes the club look weak to say that you can't play without a 19 or 18-year-old player.
But doesn't it also
games.
say that the league has gotten to a point where it's able to develop talent that's 20 years old and younger, that it can impact senior level games, and a generation ago.
But this is the risk you take by playing young players. If you are going to take that, look at Philly. They're daring to
but again,
build that.
They don't have
that
to
academy.
release them. It's only this peer pressure thing that Jim Curtin's applying that really is the issue. And again, the player themselves. I don't know.
I don't remember another youth World Cup where we had this many players not being released.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's do. So you may have heard the news, Jared. Did you hear this news?
Which news?
Did you hear the news that Breck Shea and Jeff Cameron, two guys.
I did hear this.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get this
why
in
was
here.
there a
It's
joint
not
release?
working.
Can you explain that to
there
me?
we go.
Why was there a joint
There we go.
release?
Why was there a joint release?
Like, why did both of them release at the same time?
I don't know. I tried. Nick's mad at me because of the way I handled this. Apparently, this isn't going to work. There it is. All right, let's do it
working
this
for
way.
me.
They're going into business together. That's why. That's what they said. They're going into business together.
Selling MAGA hats?
Hey, now, careful. We don't know about Breck Shea. Our in memoriam career of Breck Shea. This is actually the beginning of the end of this slideshow. Remember this one, Jerry? When he announced.
How could I forget this one? That's him painting his wife. It's kind of creepy you've left that one on for so long.
This is when he caught a snake at Inter Miami training. Remember that? When he caught a snake? Yeah.
I meant got a snake, all right.
So smooth here.
That's the Aladdin
my
pants?
presentation. The Aladdin pants, 2016 preseason with Orlando City. Look at it's that. Why? I don't. So are they shorts or do they like billow at the bottom? Are they? Do we know?
Quartz.
This one. So I put in two different pictures of him wearing cornrows because it's a move. It's a choice.
You better hurry up before you hit 30 seconds with your
I
false
know
start.
exactly where I'm at. He used a pig head in a prank at Stoke, and then he pulled out the guns. Also got him in trouble at Stoke when he pulled out the guns.
England don't understand. Not that I do, but England
Yeah.
doesn't understand.
Oh, that's gonna mess me up here. Oh, I can't get that one to fade that out. And then this one, the famous one.
Is that the same girl that's pregnant in the other picture?
No, this is pre-wife. This is Breck Shea in the early days. Do you know what it
Pre-wife.
says? You know what that tattoo says? Any idea what that tattoo
I'm
might say?
sure it's probably so. Oh God. Okay, I have thoughts on this. I'm going to guess that is.
I was like doing that.
If you're not
'cause-
watching the YouTube show, you just missed Nick with a full mouth of Chipotle. I'm going to say that's something like, I want to say something magical, like the national, it's like the Declaration of Independence tattooed on his rib cage, just so it's like an homage to National Treasure and Nick Cage.
Okay, I see that. Sure, I
What
can
is
see
it?
that. I have no idea.
Oh,
just
I thought you had the answer.
No, I just thought I was wondering if you had a guess what it might be. I don't. And it's probably something like an ode to Texas soil or something, or like the blood of his ancestors, or it could be like a prayer to the moon god. It's Breck Shea. Who knows?
Now, Nick, you may want to finish the bite you have in your mouth because I'm probably going to need you to come on and play a game with us. So
Okay.
we'll see. This is going to test a little bit of. So he took one more bite. Shoved one more bite
he
in
did.
his mouth after I said
Of course
that.
he did. Of course. And again, my apologies for butchering the production on the show. That's part of what makes this
If
such
only
a charming
we had a
program.
producer you could have had do all that for us.
I mean, we didn't really talk through it at the
I
beginning
had
of the
no
show.
clue. I would
mean,
have had
it's
it
right
prepped
there.
and ready. Would have looked good.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like
Wow.
trash. It's okay. That's all right.
All right, so what
Let's
I've
see.
done is I prepped a game for you guys. It's an MLS-based game, and it's a very simple game. It's a very simple game. I thought we all know who has the most goals all time in MLS and stuff like that, right?
Chris Wondolowski.
Chris Wondolowski. You could probably even go a couple deep if you needed to. But I'm wondering, do you know the highest goal scorer for each individual team in MLS all time.
Ooh, okay, sure. Let's try
Now,
this.
I'll tell you right now, some of these are very recent, some of these are very old. It's kind of shocking
Yeah.
how old some of these records are
Okay.
for players. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is I'll give you a team name. I want to see if you can ring in with your name and
Okay.
tell me what player has the highest goal total all time for just that one team, for the time they spent at that team.
Okay.
And I believe all these are full, like, Open Cup competitions, CCL. I believe it's all
this is
goals.
all comps?
I
We're doing
believe
all
so. 'Cause There's
comps?
one I thought was really high, and I went and looked at it, and it was all comps. So just a heads up on that.
Okay.
But it shouldn't
All
really change
comps.
it that much. All right, so
Okay.
let me ask you. Let's start with one that might be kind of easy but attainable. DC United. Who's DC United's all-time
Jason.
leading goals? Yes, Jason.
Jaime Moreno.
Ding, ding, ding. Jaime Marino. Nicely done. And now, for a bonus point,
Yeah.
between you and Nick, I want each of you to give me a number and see who can get closer to his total goals.
99.
Okay. What'd you say?
99 for
99.
Nick.
I'm gonna say, is it Price is Right rules or
No,
just like
I
it's
hate Price Rule. Just so you know, I will never play Price is Right rules. It is the stupidest rule of all time.
Jaime Moreno is 120.
The true number for Mr. Jaime Marino is 131.
Okay.
Jason's closer. So it gives you an idea. There's a benchmark right there. Obviously, Jaime Marino's probably going to be one of the higher numbers. I can tell you that of all the teams, all teams that have ever played in MLS, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that have a score over 100. And you just heard one of them. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Let me give you one that's going to be... So, Nick, on the scale, was that too tough or not tough enough for you?
That, by the way, that's
Or
Jaime
just
Moreno's
right.
Jaime Moreno's goals only with DC United. I don't remember how
Only
many
DC United. Only
he
DC
played. How
United.
many he scored with Metro, but
And by the way, I had ChatGPT create this list. I checked about 5 or 6 of these, and they were correct. So I'm assuming the rest are as
ChatGPT
well.
lies.
It does.
ChatGPT
and that's why
lies.
I checked about 5 or 6 of these, and I
Okay.
made sure that they were correct. So Nick, was that level good?
I wouldn't have thought of Jaime Moreno, but I know who
Okay.
that is.
All right. So let me give you another one then. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go with Houston Dynamo.
Nick.
Yes, Nick.
Oh, it's a trick. Oh, I'll go Wando.
Wando is not the answer.
What happened? What happened there? I feel like you walked into a bear trap. What went on?
I
mean,
think
Well,
some
he also played for the
He
Houston
did
Dynamo.
briefly.
Yeah, but
Okay.
then he
So, Jason.
started his career with the Dynamo and then went to San Jose for the big bulk of it.
Jason. Brian Ching.
That was
Brian
the
Ching is correct. Brian Ching is correct. Give me a number.
Brian Ching scored 70 goals for the Houston Dynamo.
Nick?
I'll go 84.
Fucking A, Jason. 69, dude. 69 goals. Nicely
Look at
done. That was really well done. Okay, I'm a.
Oh. We should
How
have
about
known, by
Nick?
the way, that
No,
that-
Nick, this is all as of it says through May 2023. So I'm assuming this is right. A lot of things are changing really actively right now for some of these younger teams. But right now, according to this list, I'm not sure if it's still accurate. FC Cincinnati.
Nick.
Nick,
Brennan Vasquez.
according to this, it's Brenner on 11. That could be wrong, right?
That's
11.
very wrong.
Because Brenner Vasquez had 17 or something last year, right?
they both had 18
Yeah.
goals last year.
This is wrong. Yeah, so this is wrong. So I
Your
apologize.
chat GPT is lying.
I
This
didn't
whole
check this
thing
one.
is counterfeit.
No,
it's
I
counterfeit.
checked a bunch of other ones.
It's
By the way,
Vasquez.
somebody pointing out that Breck Shea's tattoo is a Bible verse. Of course it's a Bible verse. Of course it is. Yeah.
All right, New England Revolution.
Holy shit. Jason.
Yeah?
Taylor Twellman.
Correct. You haven't missed one yet. Holy crap.
No.
Give me a number.
100.
I'm going to go 78.
Fucking hey, Jason, 101. He's one goal off on 2 of these guys,
The
right?
website
You
open.
have the list right up in front of you?
No, I don't know if you know this. I have a radio show. I talk about soccer in America
But how
all
did
the
you know
like,
that he
every
had
day.
101 goals? Okay.
Because I remember him being very right at that century mark. I remember that being specifically where he ended.
All right,
should've
I'm
played
making it
Price is
harder,
Right.
not for Nick. I'm making it harder for you. Philadelphia Union.
Jason.
Yeah.
Sebastian Letou.
Incorrect. Nick for the steal.
Ooh.
It's tough, dude.
It's not Latu. Who is it?
Again, according to ChatGPT.
Yeah, right?
Moreno.
Who is it?
No, it is CJ Sapong
CJ Sapong.
with 36 goals.
Wow.
Wow. 36?
All right, I'm going to throw another curveball at you guys. Well, we'll see.
I feel like I need to go back behind you and check on these things.
Sure, go ahead.
Does Morgan know who the all-time leading is that right, Morgan? Are you still here somewhere? Tell me. All right, go ahead.
All right. Seattle Sounders.
Jason.
Yeah. This is a tough
Freddie
one.
Montero.
Freddie Montero is correct. Nicely done. I thought that would be harder because there have been some good goal scorers on that
Jordan
team.
is close. I think Jordan is close, but I think it's Freddie Montero.
Freddie Montero on how many goals?
75.
Nick?
74.
Nick is correct. 60 is the number. 60 is the number.
Are you sure about that?
All right. Toronto FC.
Nick.
Jason.
Oh, Nick, what do you got?
Giovinco.
Giovinco is correct.
Yes.
Nicely done. How many goals?
42.
I'll say 50.
This is one of the ones I checked because I thought there's no way that number's right. The number's right. 83.
Whoa.
A lot in Canadian
the way,
competition, CCL,
okay.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay, this whole thing is counterfeit. I'm tossing all this out the
Why?
window. It's all gone. Philadelphia Union all-time leading goal scorer Sebastian Latu with 56 goals.
Where'd you find that? Because I was trying
On
to find
the
a list. of everyone.
Wikipedia page. I trust Wikipedia more than I trust ChatGPT.
Okay, well, I
apparently.
tell you, I checked the Giovinco one on Wikipedia, so I know for a fact that's 83
Okay,
goals.
Javinko, maybe you're right, but the 256, Kasper Shibilko 40, CJ Sapong 38, Daniel Gazdag 32. Like
I'm just saying AI isn't as good as it needs to be just yet.
so I should get a point for Sebastian Latu.
Yeah, you should.
Come on.
But I'm not keeping score.
You're winning anyway.
That's true.
All right, how about let's see when I checked then. Chicago
Look how
Fire.
you tried to cheat the research.
Chicago Fire.
Oh, Chicago Fire, all-time leading goal scorer. Oh, man, that one's a tough one. Who's the all-time leading goal scorer for the Chicago Fire? Oh, wow. This one's gonna be old school because they haven't had a good goal scorer in a while.
Right.
They had the guy who won the Golden Boot a couple years ago. Nick, if we can team up on this one, you remember who that was?
How many years ago are we talking?
Like 5 or 6.
Really?
Yeah, they had a Golden Boot winner in Chicago.
That's not the
5 or
one.
6 years. It's not the one.
Go older.
McBride wasn't there long enough.
No,
So definitely not him.
go older.
Older.
Go older.
They won some championships, right?
Is it Peter Novak or something like
No.
that?
I mean, it's closer to that era.
It's closer to that era.
They had two guys, I think, that almost maybe they both led the league in scoring.
Hold on.
I think the same season they were both maybe potential goal leaders
It's not
at one
It's
point.
not Razov, is it?
Ante Razov.
Ante Razov.
And I
check
think he's
that?
still, what, 4th or 5th all-time goal scorer? Oh, maybe he's down to like 7th or 8th now.
Nah, he's dropped quite a bit in recent
Yeah,
years,
but he was one of the all-time leading goal scorers in MLS at one point.
Cool.
So that means
Wait, are we going to have a game where you check my stuff now, too? Is that part of this game?
How can I trust you?
You're not trusting me, you're trusting AI.
How can I trust
Now,
you?
I will say this. If someone had actually put this on the internet, I couldn't find a list anywhere of someone who put together all the scores in one place.
There's like an MLS stat book.
I couldn't
somewhere.
find one, so I had ChatGPT create one for me.
This, by the way, the funny part about this is just right before the show today, Jared's like, I'm going to put together a game. And he came up with this game, and then he goes, oh my God, ChatGPT is super racist.
Oh, do you want me to get to that? I can go for that right now if you'd like. Let's
Oh,
change
but
this
no.
game. This is a new game. This
Oh,
new
my
game,
God.
let me tell you some stuff here, okay? So this is just an AI show now. So I told AI, give me a table with 10 MLS players and a funny name for each of their autobiographies.
Okay.
It came back with 10 players. Zlatan, Wayne Rooney, Carlos Vela, Josie Altidore. It gave me a lot of the main guys people know from MLS. All right, so I'm gonna give you a bunch of names. You tell me which one you want to hear.
I'm glad we
Zlatan,
can
Wayne
laugh,
Rooney,
laugh through the collapse of civilization. I'm glad we're able to
Carlos
do that
Vela,
together.
Josie Altidore, Giovinco, Beckham, Dempsey, Howard, Keane, or Wondolowski. Who do you
I
want to
know
their
Dempsey's for sure. I want to know Dempsey's.
Dempsey's is my favorite one.
Okay.
The name of his autobiography, as created by AI, Deuce of Hearts, my life on and off the pitch. Isn't that amazing?
Saucing them up. Hit him. What?
Well, you can't talk about his love life and saucing people up.
Deuce
That dude
of
does
Hearts?
sauce up his lady. Like, he's got a lot of kids.
Deuce of Hearts.
Deuce of Hearts, my life on and off the pitch. Isn't that amazing? All right, let me give you another one that I really liked.
Oh man, I look like
Sebastian Giovinco.
All right.
Sebastian Giovinco, the atomic ant, a small player in a big league. These are better than what I could write. Okay, let's get to the racist ones.
This is why the writers are striking right now.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so Carlos Vela, I put 3 different prompts in for stuff.
I can't
Each
see.
time Carlos Vela's came up more and more racist. Carlos Vela's autobiography, not written by me, but by ChatGPT. Let's be very
Racist
clear
AI.
here.
Racist AI.
The name of his
disclaimer.
the name of his autobiography would be Tacos, Goals, and Everything in Between.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
How the hell does that happen?
Tacos.
Goals and
Oh my
everything in
God.
between. Now let me go down a little bit
Tacos.
further. I said to ChatGPT, give me the list of the same 10 MLS players and tell me what their favorite movie would be based on their personalities.
No.
Carlos Vela's favorite movie, according to ChatGPT, Nacho Libre.
Oh,
So we got tacos and nachos.
oh my god. I was going to say
Hold
La
on.
Bamba. That might have been
It-
better.
It gets worse.
Okay.
I asked ChatGPT to write some fictional high school superlatives for 10
no.
MLS players. You know, for people who don't know what high school superlatives are, cutest,
still do those?
most likely to succeed, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Carlos Vela's his high school superlative, as created by ChatGPT, most likely to start a mariachi band.
Oh
my
my
gosh.
god.
Dude, ChatGPT is evil. That is
Yeah.
straight evil. And
Yes.
here, I'm going to show you a little bit more. Sebastian Giovinco's most likely, his superlative, most likely to star in a mob movie.
Oh my god.
I swear to God, I have the output here.
Hold on. I saw this too. Just because I don't think it's nearly as funny. What was the Josie autobiography name?
The Josie
or
one
biography
is
name?
The Josie one. My journey to MLS greatness.
The Josie one.
MLS greatness.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me give you Chris Wondolowski's. Chris Wondolowski's autobiography was Wonderful. The incredible rise of MLS all-time leading scorer.
It's very wonderful tonight.
Okay, let me also give you Chris Wondolowski's MLS high school superlative. Most likely to win a chili cook-off.
What?
I have no idea.
What?
Wow.
Is Chile like a Chico State thing?
I have no idea, dude. But I'm starting to understand the way it gets answers, though. For example, Tim Howard's was most likely to be president. And I think that's because of all the Secretary of Defense memes that came up at the World Cup. I think that's how it gets some of this stuff.
So it wasn't like most likely to bomb Iran or something? It wasn't that? It was
not
okay.
that, no.
Just glad. I'm glad. It was better for
Zlatan's
ChatGPT.
was most likely to win an arm wrestling contest.
Okay. What do you have a biography for Zlatan? I mean, he had one already.
Oh yeah,
I am
his
Zlatan.
was The Ego Has Landed, My Life in MLS.
It's like
The Ego Has Landed.
the ego has landed. Oh man, is this show just going to be us pumping stuff into ChatGPT now? For
Maybe. Wayne Rooney, from Manchester to the Midwest, a Rooney's tale.
Vince has an idea in the chat. I'm not sure I like that idea. I think
Oh,
that might
Jeff
be
Cameron's?
a bad.
I didn't ask. I don't think it knew who Jeff Cameron was.
Oh, well, that's worse. That's bad. Wow.
Oh, and by the way, Zlatan's favorite movie, according to ChatGPT, Gladiator. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that tracks.
You know, he was in like
No.
a knockoff Gladiator type thing, like a Roman era movie that was so bad that no
By the
one
way,
saw it.
further evidence of ChatGPT's racism. Sebastian Javinko's favorite movie, The Godfather. It just knows one thing about you and has to like.
I mean, at least like
Go to the mattresses.
Robbie Keane, The Departed. I'm guessing that's because it's like
Oh my
Irish dudes in Boston. Like, I guess.
Goodness.
Chris Rondolowski's. I like
Oh,
this one. Chris
man.
Rondolowski's favorite movie, according to this, is Rudy. That actually kind of fits.
That's fair.
that kind of works. Yeah, that kind of works.
Beckham's was The
Jesus
Great
Christ,
Gatsby.
man. He could wear suits all the time in images and stuff. Is that why? Maybe
I'm
dresses
guessing
up,
so.
wears
Yeah.
stuff like yeah.
Oh, Tim Howard's biography was The Bald and the Beautiful, a goalkeeper's tale.
Yeah, I mean, I could write that one.
Yeah.
That was not that great.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get much better than Deuce of Hearts, though. Like that's
Deuce
a
of
pretty
Hearts.
good one.
What was
Yeah.
the other one? The one that sent me into
Tacos,
Fits.
goals, and everything in between.
no,
The Atomic Ant, a small player in a big league.
a small player in a big league.
It's funny because it's also not a very big league.
Jeez, I mean, by number of teams, it's pretty big.
I mean, maybe when he was in Serie A.
Oh,
I gotta
man.
think of some better prompts. So we can
I
use
don't
for
think
another time,
I don't think
but-
we can do better than that for an ending to this episode. I don't think we can do better than that. Oh, I was just the dummy who said, "Hey, ChatGPT, how do we get pro rel in America?" And it said, "It will be very difficult." That's what it said to me. That's the answer it gave.
especially when
very
we meet the
difficult.
people that are on the cause of it.
Yeah. All right. So again, patreon.com/thebestsoccershow for, I don't know, maybe ChatGPT posts or definitely bonus content, discounts on the merch if you sign up for the Patreon. It's the least we could do.
Yeah.
Support us over there.
There'll
Also,
be more
Slack
than just
access.
that one shirt as well.
Yeah, Slack access for you, part of the community as well.
Bonus
Adjusting
shows.
some things over there. By the time you check it out, it might be adjusted. So wait, give me some time. All of that. What else, Jared? Socials, hit us up.
Yeah,
Twitter,
if you want bonus shows, bonus
Instagram.
content, both our bonus shows here, the old Dad FCs that you put out from time to time, those are all be at one of the Patreon levels as well. So if this show's
I'm
not
due
enough
for
for you
one
on
of
the free
those.
and you want more and you want to get more stuff off the record where it's a little bit dirtier and a little bit more chaotic and less soccer, sign up for the bonus shows.
Slightly less, yeah, different stuff. over
It's
there.
dirtier for
different
sure.
stuff. Woo! Yeah, okay. In that case, I think we're done. Back at it next week in the usual spot, more than likely. Stay tuned to the socials for any particular changes. Anything else? That's it, Mr.
I think
Dubois?
that's it, man.
We'll
Have a
talk
good
to you
one,
guys
folks.
next week. Bye.
Michael freaking Arasco Fiscal.
Can I get a manager? Can I please get a manager?
Go to DEFCON 2.
WNBC.
Damn,
WNBC.
dog, that's an approach.
The horror show.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Oh, here we go. Saucing them up. Hit them, wet, wet. Oh, it's incredible.
Who asked those questions?
Calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
Michael freaking Arasco Fiscal.
Jay Rodius.